105, code 6, 105.
Hey! Stop right there! Over your head!
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Kathy Lee, could you please do the roll call?
Arbaugh present, Haley Hutton, Billy Hutton.
Yep.
Dave Gallups.
Yep.
Eric Polesh, John Split,
Here?
Terry Robita,
Here.
Sarah Willett.
We do have a quorum. Thank you.
He is Craig.
Yeah. Well, 1, 2, 3,
We have
4,
five.
5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 5. Number 3, approval of the agenda tonight.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Is that
Motion
Terry?
by Terry, second by Billy to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We need approval of past minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave,
I'll second that.
second by Billy to approve last month's minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're going to skip 5. Maybe I misunderstood Karen and I was supposed to pick up, so I apologize for that.
She
The
can,
financial report.
Text it or scan it to, so you can get it.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have to hope it's in here.
Right, exactly. Number 6 is public comments. I don't believe we have anybody here tonight. Number 7 is Fox and Crow signage. And I wonder if Karen put it in the conference room. Karen did email me an application for Fox and Crow.
Oh, you didn't do it last month?
No.
Okay.
Isn't David Dewar just the sweetest guy?
There's a
David
lot of
Dewar.
activity going on there, so I don't know if they're possible
So
to get it open.
gentle. I mean, here's Liz,
Stuff going on.
Nita.
Yeah, I thought they wanted to
fighting
open-
speak and he's like, Can I
Yeah.
Today. I thought it was March 1st. I thought it was the original plan.
Hopes and, I don't know, I
Maybe it's April. I don't know. I thought it was.
Condoms and all kind, everybody.
So he's got
everybody
such
else.
an even temperament. That's how Steve is. I don't.
I'm just looking for,
He smiles in the morning.
Yeah, that's just something.
she did, and that's why I was thinking that it was going to be here
I have to
tonight.
have my coffee first. and then I'll
Or
think
my
about smiling.
medication, yeah.
I see somebody's moving into the old Dairy Queen too.
Yes.
Breakfast joint, I guess. There's not many empty places anywhere. Just not. That's a good thing.
Sherry, what did you say about A&W?
Huh?
What did you say about A&W?
No, the old Dairy Queen.
Oh, Dairy Queen. It's gonna be a tea room?
Now we know you're old.
It's, yeah.
Hoping this works.
Red
I have
Roof,
it on my
Red
email.
Roof Cafe and Breakfast.
Ah, okay.
Fox
okay,
and Crow,
okay.
that's their
I
sign.
don't know who.
Okay.
And then,
I don't know, and there was nothing in the paper either. It was like, so, big thing about the bistro, but nothing about them coming into town, so I don't know.
Oh, well. You know, the
Who's
door's
that?
supposed to be
Painter.
recessed.
Couple on.
I've been like
Ever
picking
seen
the
this?
trees.
Oh.
Yeah.
yes, they usually.
I mean, I read it in the last couple
Yeah,
of days.
That
yeah.
house is sold.
And I don't know if they
Kind
can
of
do that.
thought that it might have been sold,
I think there's
or at
some
least
DDA
leased out because the for sale sign went down, and then the building was
Oh,
painted.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So then I thought, well, okay,
Very minimal,
the
very.
painters aren't moving in there, they don't need that.
No, he don't need that.
No.
He's single anyway, you know, he can do
that's
it, but, and I,
sign
I
on
wonder
the
what was going on.
building.
I seen him to ask him, but then I talked to the owner of the
What's he done this month?
Mexican
Peter Red?
restaurant, and they still own the
Is
building.
it?
Yeah, so kind of-
Oh, yeah, it looks like it's,
But
It's difficult for anybody to come in and buy a
he said
building.
he couldn't see
I
him.
thought it was a small animal.
that's a very nice sign.
Yeah.
It is.
And then that's what's going to go on the front.
You'll be good. He said, I think you'll be good.
They're not gonna overcharge for stuff.
Yeah, so I think I got plans figured out, so about the middle of the month, I'll get that scaffolding from you, because I'll be ready to start cleaning and get that figured out down below then.
Sue has not approved the sign
But
yet?
just let me know. I can
Yeah.
put it in the back of my truck.
You mean,
Yeah, as soon as we give if we approve it.
I
then
actually
she
have steps now,
approves it.
so.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure it falls into the square footage.
But,
Yeah.
guess,
Did you see it?
because I don't live there, and I should have known, because
It's
when I have the
very
steps, I
peaceful.
keep a lot of tools in there when I go. And,
Oh,
Right.
I'll try
I knew it
that.
was icy.
I see I'm way
Keep
behind on
sidewalks.
technology.
I went through 3 or 4 big bags.
There's no shame in that, John.
I hit, coming out, I hit that top step. I knew
Because
it
we
was
were
there.
born old.
It got me, and on my way down, I put my other foot down, and just.
23 when you were born.
Oh, my
Snow.
sister
So I
called
didn't
me and
hit the
asked me how to
steps.
fill out a social
Several
security
years ago, I
thing.
went
I'm
down,
like,
did
why
the
do you
steps
think
with
I
Brenda.
know? I don't know.
Somehow or another, it stuck in my head. It just.
Well, you find out, tell me, right?
Yeah,
And I
when she
just
go
turned
through
my
it,
back
give
like
me a
that, just
ring.
laying in the snow, and it was like, oh, that was okay. I'm okay.
Well, after that ice storm,
Sister's one of
the
those
sidewalk
people
coming
that
down from the
she'll
back
text
parking
or
lot
she'll email, but
above
it
on
is
Ransom there,
only the
next
necessary
to
words.
the old
Yeah.
scrapbook
You know,
store,
and sometimes
that was
she's
clear
like,
ice.
But it was bad there for a while.
And
That sounds
I went in
cursed.
and I talked to Yvonne at Diggs, I said, I know you don't like to ruffle
That's why
feathers,
they
I said,
started
but
putting
I would be
smiley
calling the
faces
city
on
on
it.
that. That
I
needs to-
know.
You can't be going up and down that like
Honestly,
that
I told her
without
that
them
I
should
wonder if
do-
I should
doing something about
evaluate
that.
Literally.
my mouth to
They've
see
turned their
if this
feet
is
on
gonna
that
happen
snow
more.
stuff.
Is to put.
This winter, I didn't notice too much of a pile in the
About
main
put
street there. They left it.
$15,000 in my mouth.
Right, because
What
we
if
didn't
it
get the
just
big
keeps
heavy
happening?
snowfalls like we
I
got the
could
others
pay
before where it just stayed and they didn't move it.
No, they just left it.
But-
But I think Rogers was worried in
She's
front
like,
there.
I want
But
more.
one of the things I didn't understand, like every other town I've lived in, the main street, what they did, they came
What
through
are you
at 3, 4 in the morning
saying?
and pushed it all to the middle
Bruce's third
so
wife.
traffic could still park and still drive down.
And then they come
She
in.
had those
And then they come and get
eyes, like when she
it. Instead of
smiled.
pushing it to the side, then pushing it back out.
I never
It's double the work.
So many things go into
I'm a
your
little bit
decision.
confused by it, but bite my tongue.
And I'm a super
Complaining to people
techie.
like you, what is wrong?
Well, I know a couple of years ago when Tammy at Backports
I don't
complained, they
like
piled a bunch of snow in front of her store.
It's better than.
You can't park here if you don't go in or shop. She'll
Yeah,
be mad.
it is better than phone.
She used to get mad at John Olson all the time.
Problem I have.
Oh, yeah, I know.
is that it's-
John used to do it to your
Depending
table.
on the room you're in.
Well,
it's so
when they were in,
difficult to hear the
when they were in
conversation.
John's
I agree.
Yeah.
building
I agree.
and
Well, the one-on-one.
John
thing's
Olson would,
okay,
had
but
that stuff in the next door where Thriving is, when he had his stuff in there, and he would open up every once in a while.
people
And people would try and be
start talking
walking
over
in the
each
back
other,
porch and he
then they
would
stop.
Shanghai him and
And
lead
then
him
you
into
get
his
that
shop
stop
to show him
and start
his
talking over
antiques
each
or
other,
whatever he
yeah.
had in there for sale.
No one uses
Yeah, you
raised
don't do
hands.
See, she,
Yeah, well, you don't
And that
do
was
enough,
empty.
people don't do enough Zoom.
Chamber of
Yeah.
Commerce.
Yeah.
Usually
Marquette
people,
asked me if I would.
where my
right before
wife
Christmas
works, they
tickets,
do it all the
If I
time.
would put stuff in there.
So they know how to do it.
In the front,
Got it
Right.
figured
windows and
out.
stuff, so it would
And you just know
look empty.
Right.
protocol.
Sure, so I just.
Yeah.
Well, I've done it a
She gave me
couple
a
of
key and put
times.
them in there. And then she
I've done
had,
it
she gave me a
one-on-one.
sign like this, it had
was
my
fine.
name on it.
But when I
If
did
you're
it, there were
interested,
several
buy it.
people, it was a
Which I thought was
cluster.
pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
After
Yeah.
that, I left them in there for about 2 weeks.
We
And
have,
she called me, she says, "Hi, Billy, you know, I said,
rotary,
you take your stuff
you
out." I
can
said,
meet
"Sure."
via
She said,
the
"Well,
Zoom.
Tammy,
It
I
looks
don't
like
want you doing it, you don't
Connor,
belong
if
in
you're
the chamber."
on Zoom and
People
they're
would
there.
find stuff from me and make her mad.
Okay.
And then they
Talk
wanted
about
to know
a
if that was her.
customer. You can't
Oh,
make a comment.
Sorry for the delay, but we do
Right.
have it
And
up
we
on the
send
screen
one
now.
Texting and they never see it.
Like have a magic marker.
So this is it's for certificate of appropriateness for Fox and Crow at 302 Watson Street. It's window signage and then a sign with a metal bracket above.
What's the sign size? It looks like it's
What was their address? 20, or 302?
It's 302.
302?
Yeah, 302, that one is.
Yep.
How big is that sign?
3 wide?
Wow, is that a new number?
Okay.
Okay, so it's the standard next to the size.
Yeah, but that was connected to the hotel.
Yeah, they might have.
So maybe they gave it a number. I
Yeah.
don't remember 302.
Yeah, they changed the numbers.
address, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I figured.
because I believe it was originally 308.
At a hotel. Cool.
Is there some kind of ADA thing?
I'm
about
jealous of
Not
this.
unsetting the doors? I was reading in here how it was ideal to set the doors in some. Have they stopped doing that because of some kind of?
Can we,
I know you have
are
to
we
have-
voting on anything on this? Or
Yes, we'll have to vote to approve or not approve, yes.
You have to have a flat spot in front and behind the door.
So,
Okay.
oh, I can't see.
For the window graphics and the sign.
Mm-hmm.
trust everybody else, I can't see it. Yeah, I like it.
You can go up there if you want.
I can see the fog, but the Bible.
Do we know how
so we-
far off of the sidewalk it's gonna be, Adam? I can't really see that, to be honest.
There's nothing really to see other than what you're seeing.
Yeah, graphics, yeah, graphics on the sign.
One photo, and then the second photo,
Uh-huh.
which does not specify where it is located.
I know we did have discussions on that, and I think we were gonna probably get somewhat tougher with that, so Sue Leahy has it in her application that they show and they tell us where it's gonna be located. You know, if it's above the door or off center or something like that. I can't speak for what they're gonna do, but that building is pretty much symmetrical. I would guess it's gonna go in the center, but I can't say for sure.
And you think they would mount it on that piece above the door?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep.
I don't think it'll go in the center.
Because there is a height, a minimum height that it has to be, so.
Yeah,
Isn't it 10 feet to the bottom for a sign?
we just read it. It's
Page
9.
29.
So I guess we would, if, we can discuss this, or we could approve or not approve. I'm sure they're
From the grade.
waiting to get the answer from us.
Well, you can approve with it as long as it's the
Pending.
bottom 10 feet,
Yes,
then it's legal. I'll make a motion to approve pending it, making sure the sign's at least 10 feet above
okay.
ground level.
How would
You making a
they,
motion?
I
Yes,
just did.
And I'll second the motion.
how would we, are you gonna call them or Sue or,
Sue Leahy,
okay?
yes. So the motion by Dave, seconded by Billy, to approve tonight's certificate of appropriateness with the condition that it is mounted to the proper height of 10 feet off the sidewalk.
Do we know if those 3 panels on the right side of the picture, is that isn't the stairway stop, is it? I see that rail, where does that rail come out?
That railing goes to the,
Straight away toward us?
no, it goes
That's a
up.
ramp.
Yeah, I know it goes to Mapes, right?
Yes.
But when you come down that, is that the right side of the railing or the left? What I guess I'm trying to say is,
It'd be the right side if you're walking downstairs.
okay, yeah, thanks.
Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor to approve tonight's certificate of appropriateness, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I will call Sue Leahy or email her tonight, I should say. Okay, number 8, you might be wondering what that is.
Yeah.
I got a phone call from Ricky Erdman. He's a contractor, carpenter in Ripon, and he was working on the Ripon Community Church. And if you don't know where that is, it's coming up the hill on West Fond du Lac Street, on the corner of Ransom and West Fond du Lac Street. And they've been having troubles there. It's a brick building with a mortared facade that looks like the Mapes house, if you're familiar with that. It's just an applied stucco and then it looks like a stone. And they've been having troubles with that staying on. And he knows that we have no jurisdiction because they're not part of the historic commercial district. But he wanted our thoughts on it, if we had any thoughts on what could be done, what should be done. If they apply for a permit to put on it's like a EMDS stucco. You put on a styrofoam and then you kind of stucco over the styrofoam, how we would feel about it. And I immediately told him I can't speak for the the commission, but I would not like that.
I
That was my
recall
personal
that
opinion.
we voted it down for Mr. Dietrich.
Right.
He wanted to do it.
And I gave him that example.
Oh, good.
I did.
What's, the Mapes House, or, the hotel?
Yeah.
Because they did the whole.
They did.
the whole-
And they
in
did-
fact, They went over and repaired
Mm-hmm.
on Boston, or Ransom side.
Yes.
They did repair work on that.
And they did contact the same company that repaired the Mapes house, and it was quite a large amount of money. That's what their concern was.
There's not many people that can do it. It's
Right.
art. It's a real art form.
Yes.
I watched them.
So I told him I'd put it on our agenda, we could discuss it, we can think about it, what our opinion is on it. We could come up with an opinion tonight, and then I could pass that along
Is it
if
patching?
we're ready to do that. I don't want to say we have to come up with an opinion right now.
Was it the whole church?
It's
Coverage?
mainly the back and then the Ransom Street side. There's a round window on that side, and I believe water's getting in behind that, and it's starting to, come loose.
On the back.
So below
Not
it,
much.
below the window?
Yes.
Yeah,
Not
Ricky,
much
Yeah.
to the back.
Ricky said they have a section, there's a courtyard between the church building and Old Doc Johnson's building.
Yeah.
And that side is failing more than the other sides.
So where like the parking lot is?
Actually, no, inside.
Oh, like the little
There's a little
pass-through?
sliver, yeah.
So
Okay.
you really can't see it unless you're in it.
Yeah.
Really. That spot.
Yeah,
That's the worst spot.
that's one of the worst spots, but then they've also had, and it's a little bit different than Mapes, because this is like gunite applied over brick versus the Mapes is gunite applied onto stone.
Yeah.
So and what's happening is the brick is failing. So as moisture gets into the brick, it pops off that layer of
Yeah.
gunite.
Scaling.
Yeah, and there's some structural cracks that you can see where they've been trying to caulk and keep some of the water out of it. So they have a couple different problems going on.
Yeah. Yeah, personally, and it's just my opinion, I do care about the back of the building, but if money was an issue and they had to strip off that veneer and then put on something different, the back, and then that, like Craig said, the other side where it's just that little walkway, it's not that visible to people, but the Ransom Street side and the West Fond du Lac Street side are the two that concern me the most.
Yeah, most visible, for sure.
Yeah. But,
Well, I don't think it's a budget issue. That's a pretty wealthy church.
it's a large congregation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I can't swear on that.
If I
Our
recall,
neighbors say that.
the dollar amount was over 150,000.
Yeah.
Just for for tuck pointing kind of stuff, so.
And they're looking at moving. Why would they pour that in there? That's a lot.
Yeah, I think that they were thinking that rather than spend 140 to do something that may not work, knock everything off and apply the Z-brick or something of that, or ethos or whatever. Kind of like spend the same amount, but a different application.
I don't have, excuse me, any experience with doing that, but to me, it's not going to come off, it's going to come off where it's loose. But where it's still adhered to the brick, I don't think you can just chip that off and it's just going to fall off.
Yeah, I think what they had talked about is actually just taking all the brick off the building,
Oh,
framing it out and then applying the Z-brick where the brick used to be. I think that was my understanding of the conversation with Rick.
Yikes.
okay. Again, it doesn't fall under our jurisdiction, but the property abuts our commercial district. So they were concerned what our thoughts were.
I was curious, what did Dietrich do to the building that we asked him not to use that spray foam?
I think he had it retuck pointed and Maybe paint it, or did he do something, Craig, do you
I
know?
think it was just tuck pointed and painted.
And paint it, yeah. Mhm.
But they can't do that because there's all these other layers, right? That are on there already.
Yeah, it's a different process.
Yeah, yes, I would agree, it's different,
Wow, that's a bunch of bucks.
yeah.
I think you're right, you know, it would, in terms of preservation, you never want to do the wrong thing, but it's far less severe doing that on the inside corridor and maybe the back of the building as compared to the front, so maybe there is some
A double
negotiation,
solution.
so to speak.
Right,
Yeah.
yes, right, I agree.
And you could kind of hide whatever you did with the right color. It wouldn't be so noticeable.
What would you do, Mr. Gallup?
Trying to be economic with it.
I don't know, it's a building of historical significance.
Yeah.
Well,
We tried to get the building on the National Register back when,
Jim Weir?
Jim.
Yeah, Jimmy.
And they just wouldn't bite. The state just said, no, it's not significant enough,
Okay.
even to add it to the district. So,
Okay, so, but it's old.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's,
because that building, Craig, is in all kinds of pictures with the steeple. So they wouldn't,
Yeah, it's a cool looking building.
Yeah, it's,
back then,
They
yeah.
said it's just a church, you know, where it's just like anything else.
I mean, they just spent money roofing it, I know that.
Yep.
yeah,
So, and if they're gonna, I mean, the preferred thing would be to do the tuck pointing,
right,
but I'd rather see them do something where it stopped causing damage to it,
yes,
but not if they're gonna do damage to it to make it, to fix it. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
They'd be going back to the original front though, right? If they had to take that other stuff off.
Probably.
Probably, you know, you go down,
Yeah,
I don't think you'd chip off I don't think you'd be able to necessarily chip off the gunite off of brick, because there's, a lot of times when they put that on, they would use a chicken wire, and then the chicken wire would just pull off.
A little wire, they used to
Yeah.
use a little
Yeah.
corrugated
Yeah.
under a brick and hold it
Yeah,
in.
so this being applied directly to the brick, more than, and I think it might actually be the old Ceresco brick, so it's very porous. and
Yeah.
It's taking the front of the brick with it.
Oh, jeez.
It's part of the integrity of the building. Support.
so what we could do tonight is, if we're not ready to give an opinion, we can let it go till next meeting, unless you feel that you want to give an opinion and state, we want the front and Ransom Street side saved and the back can be altered.
But the side on Fond du Lac and Ransom that's not even original.
Right. Yeah. no,
Well, yeah,
it's
it was
original.
brick at,
So to save
originally
it-
it was brick, yeah.
Yeah. When you say save it, do you mean taking that off and then saving the brick?
No, what I'm saying is repairing, hiring a company that can repair that gunite, facade.
Okay.
And the back and the other side that's not visible, they could take that, they could strip that off and put on what they wanted to. Because it's not visible. It is visible, but,
Yeah,
There's gotta be other churches that's got the same,
I was gonna
Issue.
say the same thing.
if somebody could reach out.
Yeah, I gave them the contact info for Bolton Brothers, they had done some work on the front of the heist when that needed to be repaired. Also, I think if we can get them any contractors who can maybe just do that. I think maybe Polash is a member of that, maybe that's an option too, is to see if,
What about that guy who redid his brick and all that, Ken someone?
yeah, Ken Schmick.
Yeah, right by Red's. That's his building. It's beautiful.
Yeah, he took it all off.
Yeah. he might be someone, John, that you might,
Sure, I can,
There's gotta be somebody that,
because he seemed like he was pretty creative. I don't know for sure, of course, but
yeah,
Be nice to keep it original.
it would. I mean, that would be the thing to do.
That would be the
there's,
best thing, but can they, is
yeah,
it economically feasible for them to do it?
Right.
Yeah, the structural, the structural cracks are one thing, that's a different problem. The spots where it pops off, that's
Yeah.
primarily a moisture issue,
Yep,
so, they probably have a couple things going on with the building.
right.
gee whiz, they're gonna have to get that leak fixed before anything.
Yeah, that needs to be fixed sooner than
We
later.
have this one window, we've had 3 people out to fix it, it's still leaking. So we really can't do work on it until it's fixed. They're kind of in the same position.
Okay, well, I guess what I'll do with your permission is call Ricky Erdman, give him a couple other new names that he can contact, and say that our opinion is that we would like it saved as much as possible.
And the 2 priority.
Yes, especially on West Fond du Lac Street and Ransom Street.
Yeah.
And we can go from there and see what they say. But again, I mean, it was nice that they came to us.
Yep,
yeah.
It was great. And they approached Craig, for ideas, and so that was well worth it for them.
If they are considering doing something drastic, I wonder if maybe that is an opportunity to try to chip it off the brick. And then you'd be eliminating one problem.
could,
I'm thinking in terms of,
What
of
about,
Ken Schmidt, maybe he could do that.
that brick, do we have any Ceresco brick? Because all of our neighbors just
Wow,
have
there's
a
no room
million
between
brick
those two
from the
buildings, is
street.
there?
No.
Is that the same?
Can't get a scaffold in there.
Different?
No.
Two different things.
I can't remember if it's got a parapet wall on it.
I'm sure they'd sell
I
them.
helped Jim up on that roof up there,
Okay.
when we did the windows and all of that. He wouldn't go up there, and I went up there. Seems to me like there's a parapet cap. If that lets any moisture get in, that's just gonna go down, freeze and.
Yeah,
do
get
damage.
behind there and pop
That's
it,
usually
yeah.
that's usually what happens. That's what happened to the pizza
They
joint.
have to get that diagnosed or fixed or.
Glove face, they got in there and then it froze,
Yeah.
knocked all the bricks out.
Okay.
Do the same thing.
So I'll pass that along to save and repair West Fond du Lac Street, Ransom Street. The back and the east side could be repaired to whatever they want to
Maybe a way for them
use.
to save some money, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll give a couple names out. Okay, anybody else have anything else on
Just the
that?
whole thanks for asking.
Pardon?
The whole thanks for asking is
Yeah,
really
right.
nice of you.
I'm gonna make a note of that, so I make sure I say that.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, Kathy Lee. Okay. So now we're to the review of design guidelines, awnings, and signage. And I believe that was our pages, let me get my,
Starting on 25.
yes. 25.
This whole explanation of why they used awnings was pretty interesting.
So how do we want to handle this? Do we want to read through this? Did anybody have any comments they wanted to make right away on it? I'm open for suggestions.
I was just thinking maybe as a group, we could come up with really quick, the awnings have to be operable and maybe 4 or 5 things that it says in here and kind of just make our own notes or lists so that if it comes up, we can turn to it, because I had that whole 10-foot clearance thing underlined, but Craig had to show me where it was, so maybe if we had just a quick reference list. I don't know if we can do that here, though.
And I think I did find a couple typos too. In the second paragraph, under awnings, the last sentence, it says that its valance is approximately 7 feet from the building. I don't think that's, even though I worked on this years ago, I'm not following. Okay.
It can't
Yeah,
project?
it's from the building. I think that's inaccurate. It's from the sidewalk.
Right.
Yes.
So the valance, it's the structure of the awning that's supposed to be 7 feet off the sidewalk. And then if it's a free valance, then you can actually kind of like cheat that 7 feet. You can actually be like 6'6", you know?
Right, as long as
the
it's not
structure is
fixed.
7 feet.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it out?
As long as it's a
or
flowing
up?
valance.
Up,
So what's the 120?
the 120.
120 inches for the signage. Why would they have the
That's-
awning that
That's 10
short?
feet from,
Because it's only 78 inches.
Where'd you find 120?
Right here, 10 feet.
Yeah, so that's for the projecting sign. The projecting
Yeah.
sign has, the bottom that has to be,
So I'm thinking, why would there be such a disparage between that 120 and 78? That's, you know, what is,
Purpose of an awning is to create shade
yeah.
over windows that are way lower.
we don't have to worry about ADA with that height?
I
Yeah.
think,
I think as long as it's, in the past, they were requiring awnings to be 10 feet off the ground, and they were totally non-functional. You know, there
Oh,
was-
effective?
Yeah.
I see.
So, yeah, the 7 feet, you could have a person taller than 7 that could hit their head on the awning, but
Well, it's kind of rare.
and that's minimum also. I mean, you can, if it happens to be, you have a higher or a lower transom, or your building is.
Depends what
is
you
up
have.
higher, like, you know, my building at 211, I have 2 steps that go up to it, so the sidewalk is even lower than where the glass is. But I do think my awning is probably about 8 feet off the sidewalk.
Yeah. eight-
I think
eight
you
and a
can
half-
almost
eight-
hit it.
8.5 if
8
we
and a
put
half,
it out,
yeah.
extend it all the way.
So, I think 7 being the minimum, still, most people can, maybe Dave would hit his head on it, he's pretty tall.
We had talked a little bit about maybe upgrading this or modifying it, and the whole, you know, digging in on the first line should be the name of the business, and you shouldn't really have any secondary information, and do we want to leave that?
Are you on the awnings yet?
I'm
then?
on page, oh, am I on the wrong page?
well,
We can
Well,
go,
we'll get to it, never
Yeah.
mind, I'll bring it
Okay.
up later, I'll talk more later. Okay, so 7
yeah, so
feet,
the,
that's 84?
yeah, so
Yeah.
7 feet, I think that should be above the sidewalk, not from the building.
Yes.
correct,
That's
from the
Supposed to be
sidewalk.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And I do know from working with Ripon Main Street and Craig that when somebody, like I approached Craig years ago and he gave out, there's Oshkosh Tent and Awning and Fond du Lac Tent and Awning, I believe are the 2 names. And you can get sample books from them, and they're very helpful with colors, material.
Actually, the most helpful thing now is they've put everything, Sunbrella is the primary awning company, and they've put all of their fabric samples on their website, so you can go through and you know, find all that kind of stuff. There's another company, it might be called Tempest, That's the, with COVID and with the distribution problems, they've been having trouble getting parts. So I think it's Tempest, and that's manufactured in Italy. I think Sombrello, it might be based out of Italy, but I think it was manufactured in Georgia, and they were still having distribution problems. So those are two, I think, good companies to look at in terms of the quality of their material. And then whether it's Oshkosh or Fond du Lac, Baraboo Tent and Awning, I think they were also doing some stuff. Just kind of depends on, the important thing is making sure that the awning company kind of follows our desire versus a lot of them do awnings in other communities that are just the wrong way to do it. You know, it's, you don't want the frame type awning where it's all stretched tight. If you do a frame awning, you want a free valance, so that it, you know, like the valance flutters in the wind versus, so Ripon Drug has done their awnings right. Back when it was Bloomkeys, they've done their awnings right. But there's a few that take that old school type approach, and they just have this, it's, the top frame is rigid and also that lower frame, so they actually construct every angle out of aluminum and uncover it.
Oh, okay.
So having that free valance just gives it a little bit of movement.
Okay. That's good.
I don't think I understand that.
Yeah, so like in the frame awning, so this is
Sure.
kind of like the frame. So
You didn't
this
get one?
section where it says, I don't know,
I've never been liked.
We'll
That's the
get you
balance.
one.
Yeah,
So you want the frame to
There's
stop
always a rebel.
above that, so this just floats in the wind.
okay.
I might
And
have,
then the other one.
I was surprised when I
don't
got
have
mine. I was like,
balance.
okay, well, this is,
They almost all have a balance, like even this one, this is
Guidelines.
retractable.
Okay.
That's a balance. Yeah, you always want the balance.
you're
to
really
be-
under the radar, Billy. You don't even
Non-rigid.
get the stuff you're supposed to
I
get.
don't see where it says
You get
how far
old,
it
it's
sticks
okay.
out from the building.
we need more fines,
Yeah,
illegitimate
So the-
children.
I thought it was like,
Support.
4 feet is what we've always recommended. I thought there was a.
Yeah, but there's nothing in here on that.
we
I
should
thought
add
4
that.
feet was the maximum, but I'm not certain. Maybe it's in the sign code?
I think it's in the city ordinance, it's 4 feet and
Okay.
7 feet.
Because
yeah.
for a while, they were restricting that to 2 feet. I know I think years ago, we were able to get that changed to 4 feet.
That would be lame,
Yeah, yeah, well, and then they're just
just like that.
decorative.
So it
Yeah.
can stick out 4 feet
2
from the
feet,
building?
pretty,
Almost positive. it's
That wouldn't be a
4
very big awning.
especially a one-to-one?
Yeah,
No way.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I think the one-to-one is important if it's an exact triangle. You always want it to be taller than wide. So if it's 4 feet projection, you'd want like a 5 or 6 feet height, just to give it a little bit more scale. You don't want it to be
Yeah, otherwise,
it's more like a,
Hundreds of them.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
got,
He's got the companies, he's got.
he's good at that stuff.
He is.
Yeah, see, and that's the kind of thing that, those are
that's a
called-
rigid one.
Yeah, that's bubble awnings, that's backlit, that's the kind of thing we don't want to do.
Yeah,
And those are the kinds of awnings that were on back those were put on in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of thing you don't want to do.
no movement.
Yeah, that's kind of like what America did when they had the awning, or the restaurant down in the corner at where Jay's Barbecue is now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Gallagher's?
That's more like a boathouse kind of covering, you know, it's.
Well, I think the Treasury did that for a little bit too, didn't
The
they?
Treasury did something off the front, and it wasn't as bad as that.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so that's, if you go back one,
Oh my goodness, what did I do?
so that is,
That
that's,
looks yummy.
that's a frame awning, and the valance is not rigid. I'm sorry, the valance is rigid. You can see how it's just like it's all tight. It looks
Yeah,
tight.
it's stretched
Stayed,
really
there's
tight.
no
yeah.
movement.
And now the next one is,
Yeah, so that one, even though I think that's an inappropriate awning, the valance is still free. You can see how there's some movement there. Yeah, bubble awnings just, that's hideous. That's not too bad, but that looks like a like a rigid.
Rigid, yeah.
Yep.
That's a
That's rigid, you don't want to do that. And the difficult thing is sometimes, you know, that's attractive, that's still a frame awning. What's that?
You can find one that you would like for frame on that.
I'm picky, but, you know, a lot of times when you're dealing with, whether it's like the H&R Blocks or corporate, they're gonna want a certain type thing, they want to try and backlit them, and someplace in here, it also talks about not having lettering on the fabric.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Because if the business goes out of business, now you're stuck with an awning, it's gonna cost you $3,000-4,000 to recover the awning.
Yeah.
And something like that size, that's hideous. But, yeah,
There.
That's not,
That's
yeah.
correct, right?
it's correct, but
You
it's
don't want
also
this-
wrong. It's covering two different window
Yeah.
openings, and it's not, yeah.
And it's got the
I mean,
words on it.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. So that's where they've probably used an awning to cover structure. So that's probably a 1940s, 50s, 60s renovation where they put what was called a, there might have been a mansard roof on there. A lot of times that was an overhang that was
Cover it.
Yeah.
steel projecting from it.
That also had a ceiling
Yeah.
to it.
Yes, so it's, the ceiling is
Been like
probably
covering-
the old awning, and it costs tens of thousands to take that steel out and remove the beams. So you just kind of, Muggs is a great example where that's the overhang, and they put the awning kind of on top of it to kind of hide it.
Do they have very lengthy warranty?
I think a year tops.
Yeah.
There might be some additional warranty with fading, but
Because the way Ripon is, one side fades more than the other side.
Yeah.
Just the
Yeah.
way-
and that's also colors.
Yeah.
Different
Some-
colors fade quicker.
Correctly.
You know, the pinks, the purples, the teals, those fade much more rapidly
yeah.
than,
I think my first one lasted 20 years, but the last couple years were, I mean, it was, you know, ragged and strings hanging down on some of it.
yeah.
But yeah, I would say you get a good 15 years out
It
of it.
seems like the first one you had was the white and green, the
Yeah.
very traditional. Those, I don't think they show the dirt quite as quick. It seems like maybe the stripes hide that kind of thing. When you have right now, the in thing is kind of like one color awnings. You know, they show dirt much quicker. Spots, whether the air conditioner leaks on it or just, I noticed that when we had a lot of the little leaf lindens, the lindens must have an acid in their leaf that,
Okay.
if you look at the one in front of Ripon Drug, their awning is kind of miscolored. Same thing, there was a little leaf linden across the street in front of Blinky's. Their awning is kind of like, it gets almost like a green moss that kind of grows on it,
Okay.
and it just doesn't wash off.
It's a tree leaf or tree sap.
I think it's like a tree sap
sap.
from the little leaf linden.
I see.
One question, Craig. That typo that you found, are you going to fix that? Or
Yeah,
are we
I-
responsible for that?
I think I still have the master copy.
Okay.
So I can change that.
So you could change the one, that
Yeah.
couple of words in that sentence and then just print a different copy or
Yep.
revise. Okay.
I wonder if this should have,
I can like make some notes here.
I wonder if this should have reference to the 48-inch projection,
It should.
you know?
Yeah, it should
Because
say that
otherwise
in
you
our
have to go
guidelines.
digging for
What was
it.
that?
Only projecting out 48 inches.
Yes.
You want it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's been 4 foot.
And what about the wording on the awnings? Did you want to limit that, or is that something that's too far?
You know, yeah, I've always discouraged it. but
Yeah.
I didn't, when we did this, we didn't put it into the manual because, you know, if somebody has a ton of money and they want to do it, it's like, well, it's not that it's bad, it's just like, I think if I were a landlord, I don't know if I'd want my tenant doing that, just in case they wouldn't be there. And I wouldn't want an awning that I'm gonna have to recover.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to like
Yeah.
The rigid ones.
Yeah, bubble awnings and that kind of stuff that are inappropriate.
Anything that you can't move operably,
Yeah.
bring it back to the building.
I think it's okay to do the frame awnings.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. The retractable awnings, they're nice, they're more expensive.
I thought there was a difference with the one that's in place. Is it just the balance that's different?
No, usually they should both have a free balance.
Yeah.
So that the retractable awnings are nice, I think they last longer, but
I was gonna say they would last longer because
Yeah.
you could they're rolled up and protected over the winter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they do cost more.
They do cost more. Yeah. Well, you got more working parts.
We had a house and we would put those things up and down.
I was surprised in that storm that took the windows out of the game shop. Your awning was out, we had it out, and that thing,
Surprised the building didn't blow down.
it did not take
Yeah.
that, it did not take that awning.
Yeah, it is. It hinges at the building, so it can blow
Right.
up some and down, so that probably did save it too.
They will go. I had that one in my shop that rolled out.
Yeah.
We had a storm come through there and it broke.
As the technology keeps advancing, so the sensors have gotten more affordable, so you can actually put sensors and wire them so that they do go up and down with the light, or you can have remotes and just have them go up and down. So, but that, every time you do that, that's a motor, and that adds a little bit of cost.
Ching,
Yeah.
ching.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like warming marble in a bathroom.
yeah. Well, something
Okay.
else that I noticed when I was going through this is when, this was written kind of like more from a purist point of view. And I'm wondering if, it doesn't say you can't do bright colors. I think in here, it usually discourages people from doing bright colors.
Yeah.
But after traveling around, and seeing what other people have done, I know it's kind of a double-edged sword, but, I've seen tangerine awnings in downtown Port Washington that were dynamite. Fran Hill had done some canary yellow awnings that, first time I saw it, I thought, oh my God, but after I noticed it, it's like,
Was
oh,
it a
that is kinda
historic
cool.
area
Yeah.
that you saw?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if maybe some of that language should be modified, so
Awning
so
should
it's
be
not,
used in flooring that's
Yeah,
stretched,
you know.
subtle and subdued in color.
yeah, maybe taking out the not bright, or maybe having that be more suggestive rather than.
I like the idea of it
Well,
working with the building and the surrounding buildings.
Yeah.
That was mentioned somewhere.
Yep, I think a little
Yeah,
bit
it
later.
says awning color should be selected to ensure compatibility with your building with the color of adjacent buildings, which
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we should,
maybe a yellow will do that. So,
if we took the subtle and subdued color in, just to make sure that other, where is that other area that says that?
I think that's on the next page.
it's the very last thing, it says large areas of bright colors are inappropriate. If you just struck that sentence,
Yep.
Yeah,
Well-
and the bright word.
okay, it's good to, should we leave it and just do it on a case-by-case?
Then grant a variance? Is that-
Well, it wouldn't be a variance, I mean, it's like when you talked about, should we have control of paint colors, and then you brought up the idea of like on signs, maybe a pink sign looks good. And just because I don't like pink doesn't mean that it's not appropriate. If we leave this language in there, it's left up to interpretation what is inappropriate. But if we have it in there, it might discourage somebody from really going with something really wild.
Same
I don't know,
as
it's just a thought.
the backlighting.
the other sentence says that.
Yeah.
Back on the other page, right above guidelines, it says it should be selected to ensure compatibility with your building and adjacent buildings.
Yeah,
So you're getting it right there.
Okay,
That should be down under guidelines.
Yeah, that sentence should be probably after the use of plain or striped fabrics, Put that sentence there instead of the other one.
Yeah.
So put that as like the first bullet under guidelines.
Yes.
Yeah. I see your point, Dave. It does kind of.
You double speak.
Speaks for it right there.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
repeating it. We're
Right.
kind of repeating ourselves there.
Yeah.
And if you move the other sentence, use plain or striped fabrics up above guidelines right there. It's all the colors in the one spot then, so
Yeah.
that would make sense.
Where's that one? The last one?
That's the last
Plain
one
or
it talks
striped?
about. Yeah.
Yeah, if you put that after the
So-
awning color and then struck that last sentence here,
Got it.
that way all the color guidelines are together.
Yeah, yeah. Just makes better flow.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen a backlit awning. I've seen a backlit sign.
Yeah, I think it was Bloomke's that had their backlit awning for a number of years before they took it down and
Oh,
re-put
Lord.
it on. That was a fad of the 80s.
Okay.
The whole definition of bright colors too, I don't, that can be a range, as I think Craig mentioned. That could be something as, somebody could say, yellow is bright, but yellow is, that's a primary color, right?
And it could be soft yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and it could be perfect
and
for
it's
it.
fluorescent, just because something's bright, doesn't mean it shouldn't be a lot, I think
Yeah.
that's kind of so I don't know what your thoughts are there, but it's just,
Yeah, and I guess like over the years, I've softened my belly. But, so, kind of like with, I guess my position on colors, it's just another reason to end up in court. So if you're trying to dictate colors with signs, if you're trying to dictate colors with, even though some colors can be horrendous, I just think we're better off not,
Drawing a line.
yeah.
Right.
And
And
hopefully
raising
there's,
more awareness
there's
to it.
more communication to maybe stop some of that before it gets proposed.
Yeah.
I know that's not always, easy
Yeah.
to have those
No,
conversations.
but it
or-
does make sense.
Who in their right mind would spend money in court over the color of their awning?
Oh,
You'd be
Am I
surprised.
naive
Yeah.
here? Oh, boy. It shocks me.
we're passionate about pink.
well, and it's just historic preservation in general that can really push buttons, and
Yeah.
I'm an American, you can't tell me what I can do and can't do
Oh,
in my building.
gosh.
Yeah.
So
We
that's,
have a lot of people in town.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it's more of an educational approach, where we're trying to suggest that, this building, you're also protecting its integrity for future generations. So there's things that are appropriate, and there's things that aren't. If it damages the historic character of the building, you really can't go back, then that's perhaps not important. Or that is important to protect against that. If it's an awning, well, maybe in a few years, they don't last forever, and maybe the next awning will be a color that we like.
Do you guys think that we should put 84 inches above the sidewalk and then, that moving valance idea and 48 inches out from the building under guidelines rather than in this text up here?
It might be important to list it twice, because I think that's,
Good idea.
yeah,
It's easier to find under guidelines.
yeah.
I always feel like bullets indicate real quick descriptions and it kind of carries on.
Yeah, because the size of the awning is one thing you really can't
Yeah.
change easily once it's been constructed.
Well, do we think that's enough on awnings?
Yeah, I think that's great.
We'll get the changes made to that.
I never dreamed that awnings were to protect people. I just think they're pretty. What is wrong with me?
I think you bring up a good point to it. You know, part of this is almost having the version that explains why something would be the way it should be.
Yeah.
Then the bullet point version, this is what we want you to follow. So you're not reading.
Right.
Yeah,
It just gets a little overwhelming.
because people jump to bullet points usually, rather than read the whole. It's like those yellow things you used to get for a book. They would explain the whole,
Oh, Cliff Notes.
yeah, Cliff Notes. I've never read a lot of those books.
I haven't either.
You know,
This
it's
is
like,
54 pages, we could probably get it down to a big 12.
I think you're right about that, Adam. So you want to move on to science and graphics?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost 7:30. Do we want to go on? Signs and,
Oh, I don't care.
it's up to everybody. I mean,
What if we leave signs and graphics to the next meeting?
okay.
But could I ask, I think we should give some thought to changing the projecting signs. You know, allowing 9 square feet, maybe changing that to 12 square feet,
Yeah.
to allow a 4-foot wide by 3-foot tall sign. I don't think that's too big. You know, and a 4 by 3, whether it's horizontal or vertical, I think it fits in the scale of our downtown architecture. But I think that's something that we should reconsider.
Yeah, so we would go from 3 by 3 being the max,
3 by 2 right now is the max, right?
9.
Yeah,
Oh, 3 by 3 is the max.
And here.
3 by 3 is the-
So
yeah,
I'm wondering
here
if
is-
there's- I'm wondering if there's a disconnect between the ordinance.
I think there
and
is.
here.
Because we've been saying 3 by 2, so 6 square feet
Yeah. And I
has
think
been the
that's-
max.
That's way too small. Yeah.
Yeah, it is small.
Especially if that's their only sign, their primary sign, I think, that's something that should be changed.
Okay. So you're thinking, right off the top of my head, 4 by 3 seems large to me
Yeah,
at 12 square feet. I don't mind what it says right here, 9 square feet, but
yeah,
Coming
I
out
guess,
for-
to me, the 4 by 3 is huge.
Well,
guess-
what's this?
Yeah.
I mean, this is 5 feet, right? From here to here,
Yeah, that's,
so if you
The
like that.
tables are 8 foot.
yeah.
I guess it would depend on the size of the building too, right?
Yeah.
It does.
yeah.
So
The
maybe-
majority of the buildings are.
So maybe is
same
it
size.
possible for us to do 9 square feet and allow,
See, I wonder how many of them have the 3 by 3s though. I think most of them are the 3 by 2.
3 by 2,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they were limited to 3
Yes.
by 2?
Well, no, because I don't think anybody knew the 3 by 3 was allowed and
I-
what the,
yeah.
what the ordinance says
I
and what
think
this says.
Adam's looking up right now the city ordinance.
But that makes it uniform. So
Yeah.
one guy's not outdoing the other guy in a competitive
Right.
way.
A 4 by 3 wouldn't offend me on Mapes, because that's a giant
Yeah.
building.
If you look at it competitive wise,
In the
I
same
think
way,
he got a bigger one and I couldn't.
yeah.
what they're gonna
Unless
do.
we have,
So
maybe, depending on the size of your building, accommodate the size of one or the other. If it's a bigger building, you could have the bigger sign.
Yeah.
And if it's a smaller spot, like, next to Walgreens there, you go with the small one.
Yeah.
And word it that way.
I guess, 9 would be a good compromise from,
At 3 by 3,
yeah,
yeah. That should fit either or,
yeah.
yeah.
So instead of 12, really ask people to
Three's
more
not that
stick in the
big.
9,
No. 3 by, I like the 9 square feet myself,
3 by 3.
yeah. Did you find anything, Adam? Not yet.
Business districts,
think that stuff is so hard.
You're getting close.
Projecting signs.
I gotta believe it says 6 in there because otherwise Susan,
There's nothing in there.
Whoa, that's interesting, isn't it?
yeah.
Unless it's,
Well, here, keep going.
It's gotta be in there.
It's,
What is he looking at, this
Business district, so this is where you
Ripon city
maybe it's in
ordinance?
the total sign area, because that's where it talks about 3 square feet per linear foot, right?
Total sign
Per
area.
linear foot of the
That's
building?
highway business district,
okay.
it's industrial. And that's about it. So the central business district, total signage area on for parcel B1 shall not exceed an area in square feet 3 times the lineal foot front footage of the building sign is attached to or directs attention.
So, buildings are what, Craig, 16, 18 feet wide?
Yeah, and even that's a large sign for a storefront, but I think when that language was drafted, that 3 square feet also pertained to window signage. So if you had a 1 foot square foot sign across your window, and you had a 2 foot square foot sign
Right,
across.
the total
Yeah.
area goes into the whole.
Yeah,
Oh, we need to,
So this is where, with the downtown business district, the Historic Preservation Commission, it says that they have to come here and that review and improve historic based on the established downtown urban design manual guidelines. The guideline is what you have.
Okay,
It is nothing in the ordinance that I see that would be.
okay, I got you.
Square footage requirement, so 9 square feet is what is allowed on a projecting sign.
so
Okay.
how has everybody then always been the 3x2? So
I don't know.
like the Fox and Crow now, would they like to go with a 3x3 instead of the 3x2?
yeah, because during that whole conversation, I'm thinking to myself, that's way too small.
Right.
So, yeah,
I don't see it unless there's,
But their logo is very horizontal,
yeah.
Yeah.
so an extra foot tall
Yeah.
wouldn't help.
An extra foot tall for them might give them more room to work Fox and Crow into,
Right,
in addition to the,
into the signage underneath
Into
it,
the
right.
sign
Oh,
itself, yeah.
besides the
Yep.
animals?
because right now it's just F and C.
But we only have 3 blocks, so you're gonna find it. No matter what size the sign is.
Yeah, right.
Just thinking out
3
loud.
blocks.
Yeah, but,
I'm thinking like if I come here out of town, you're gonna find it.
well,
It's the fun.
if they Google it, they'll find it. A lot of people still drive down and they're looking
No.
at stuff, trying to.
Not the new generation, not mine.
No,
You know, and
They got their
that's-
phone.
Can't see 2 feet in it.
And Terry brings up a good point, because it's, the projecting signs really aren't geared toward a vehicle, that's geared toward the pedestrian as well.
pedestrian,
Walking.
Yep,
So when you're
Exactly.
driving up the street, you know, a lot of times, that traditional type sign that was mounted
that's
above
why you need the window or the door decal for them to see.
yeah,
Because you can't see that sign, because you're gonna be perpendicular to it, so you're not gonna see that. The people walking are looking up
yeah.
as to, oh, where are we at? And they look up right away with the sign above them.
So we might want to, there might be something under that projecting signs that says you can't have both, you can only have one or the other.
Oh,
I don't know if that was ever taken out of the sign ordinance, so I was wrong about the 12, and I was wrong about the 3x2, but maybe I'm wrong about that too, so that's another thing that we should kind of like look at. and
yeah,
think
check it
about.
out.
Yeah, we should.
Something else that, I don't know if you've seen it, but there is, and maybe we can do a better job of adding more signs when we find good examples, is always sharing So if somebody talks about doing a sign, sharing, these are good examples of projecting signs. These are good examples of storefront signs. So we're not telling them what they can't do, we're giving them the suggestion of what they should do.
With the awnings, that would be helpful too.
Yeah. So maybe we can,
So just on the projecting signs, it does say, the projecting signs shall not exceed 9 square feet in area in a B1 district. That's the only thing, that's a general.
So it is still
requirement.
9.
That matches the guidelines.
okay.
Right, that matches our guidelines, right?
So and then it goes into central business district, which it just doesn't really make sense that you wouldn't put that in there, but, that's fine. So it's 9.
Okay.
So we probably should talk to people, especially ones that are maybe wanting to put up signs soon.
Yeah.
Well, and like, you
Right.
know, we can talk, if somebody wants to go 4 by 3, is it appropriate? Or is it gonna look horsey on, you know, because 3 square feet isn't that big of a difference.
And in that case, a projecting sign would work, that would be against the ordinance based on that language, so you'd still be at the 9. If somebody wanted to go bigger, you know.
Yeah,
They'd have to request a variance.
Yeah,
Right.
request a
Right.
variance or whatever, which,
Yeah.
which what?
Costs $100 or,
worth it.
Yeah, I don't know, sometimes people are pretty adamant, you know, about what they want, so as long as we're not trying
As long as
to
the
get them in a
bracket-
corner.
Yeah, because usually, you know, adding 3 square feet will increase the weight. So as
'Cause-
long as the bracket can
Oh,
structurally hold the sign, that's I think the biggest,
right, if they wanted to keep the bracket and bigger sign, yeah.
because that's something I would go to court over.
Well, see, but that would be
Kidding.
something now too, if everybody's got the 3 by 2, but now they can go the 3 by 3. The bracket may not be placed in the right spot to
Spot.
allow for that
Yeah,
extra foot.
Yeah, it's just a foot, not in one spot though.
Right.
yeah, it depends.
Inches.
I think that's a good point, that it could look like you tried to, you
Choppy.
wanted a hot rod car, and you only had a pencil, so you could-
There's a, you know.
Champagne taste, beer money.
Yeah. There is verbiage that says the sign, projecting sign has to be at least 6 inches from the facade, so it doesn't rub against the facade.
Right.
And maybe then maybe there should be like a sign, or something that says it has to be like inside 6 inches of the outer most part of the arm or something, you know, maybe there's a,
Right, because you could extend that out too far otherwise, and it's going to be,
it would look bad. And it may also be, I'm not an engineer, but it might also even change the whole
Look.
wind load and structure of it.
Oh, yeah.
mhm.
It's very complicated when you start thinking about it. Gee whiz.
So like in here, it says that the sign shall not extend further than 4.5 feet from the face of the facade. I don't see where it talks about 4 inches or 6 inches from the facade.
Is it on
The
the
question I
window?
was gonna ask, you made them bigger, are they gonna bring it out farther from the building? The sign's bigger.
Yeah, I don't think you have to bring it out farther from the building.
If we just stay within that,
Yeah.
the 9,
Yeah.
or maybe the 12.
Well, and even, I think it doesn't matter how big the sign is, that minimum clearance has to be that 4 inches or 6, I think it's 6 inches, but I'm not finding that in here.
Right, it has to be at least 6, but what that guideline is telling you, if you put it a foot out there, you can't exceed the 4.5 feet out.
Yeah, from the building out.
Right.
I understand if you make a bigger sign,
So
should be there.
do people
Right, then-
kind of
that's why if
buff
a bigger sign, now
that 2
you'd
by
be really
3
close to
or?
Probably
exceeding
where
that.
The size of the
There's
sign
a lot of
came down.
conversation about something that doesn't really come up
Because I
very
could see
often.
somebody I don't know how many we have here, if their sign, if their bracket, because of the way the building's designed, that the bracket is next to one of the bump out from the other building.
Yeah.
So if you only have it extended 6 inches there,
It
you're
could be
not gonna
anything.
see your full sign. You're gonna wanna bump it out a little further, but you still have to stay within that 4.5 feet.
Yeah.
Sign pollution, I see.
I think the 6 inches from the building is meant to get it far away that it's not like striking against the
Slamming,
building
yeah.
and making a noise that's going to irritate the tenants.
You mean like the one down at Fiddler Creek? That swings between the two?
WD-40?
No names.
That last sentence under size, right at the bottom of the page, it said the sign need not exceed 2.5 feet high. This size is appropriate for distances the sign will be read from in the downtown. So they're talking 30 feet,
What page
or
are you on?
30 inches. It's right under projecting signs, and then it says size,
Okay.
and it's the last one, last sentence.
2.5, yeah.
So they're that guideline is only 30 inches high is enough.
Well, and if you change the orientation of your sign, then that's, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, instead
I've
of this
seen-
way, go this way.
Yeah, there's someplace I have an example of, used to be a shoe store called Capizio out of Galena, and they had a tall sign. So that stating in here that it can't exceed 2.5 feet high.
It just says need not exceed. So that's kind of a general term too.
Need?
Need not exceed.
Wow.
Interesting. I'm not certain how to read that.
Yeah.
That don't seem right.
I'm wondering if that should be eliminated. Actual size may vary.
Well, if we go to the 9 square feet, you would almost have to because
Well,
to
the
get 9
new,
square feet, you know,
Could be a
if
3
it's
by
30 by,
right? No,
3 by 3.
yeah, it could be, so that could be 36 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so,
Well, we'll hammer that out next week.
Okay.
April, sorry about that. I think it was the 5th. Yeah, April 5th is our next
I've
meeting.
got my old sign from Watson Street, Teen Street, so we moved, I'll dig that out and bring it next week. Or next month, because that would give us
yeah, and bring it?
a
Sure.
perfect visual to look at for the size.
What is it? From the,
Well, when I was at 211,
No, 208.
208, I mean,
Eight,
yeah,
yeah.
208, when I was at 208, I took the sign down, and I've still got the sign. So I can actually bring that, so we can actually look at it and measure it and look exactly what we're dealing with when we're looking at dimensions.
up easy to cardboard.
Yeah.
Do both.
Well, like the TV screen, that's got to be 48 by 30, my guess.
Almost 3 foot.
Yeah.
It looks
that's-
bigger than
Yeah,
48. I think
Yeah,
it's
that's a 70
60.
inch.
Oh, 70.
Nothing but the best for the,
I don't know if that's 70. I don't
No, I think it's at
It's
least,
60 at
it could
least.
be 60, yeah,
It's probably a 50,
Corner to corner.
55.
yeah.
Don't get misled.
I should have a tape measure with me.
Yeah, I can make it even bigger for you.
Oh, my word.
There you go.
But yeah, if we had a visual sign, that would be,
Yeah, I'll dig it out, bring it. Because that's what shows what most of them have downtown right now.
yeah.
I'll forward some of those projecting signs. I think I have a page on the Main Street, on the downtown website that has a sign gallery. If it's not on there, I'll make sure that we can load something up.
Okay.
And that'll be, looking at that sign, Capizio is the one that I'm thinking that we, that it might be, you might want to rewrite this so that 2 different
Horizontal and
dimensions,
vertical.
horizontal and vertical can be acceptable.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement that the 9 square feet is we're going to keep that, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's good.
I wonder if that 2x3 started with the people who designed the signs. Maybe that's the sign, something they use a lot. The scan designer.
Maybe it had a bunch of 3-foot sign panels they wanted to get rid of.
Right. It's a blue light special.
Right. No, 3x3 is not gonna work, but we have, we have the 3x2s.
Especially when they have those panels all pre-cut sitting in back.
Yeah.
So Kathy Lee, you said April 5th is our next meeting?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then, if we're ready.
So moved.
Motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.